Denise.
And I'm Georgie.
And we're also known as the Happy Vegan Couple. So, Georgie's got a recipe cooking video for you that's gonna be for those of you who like a little adventure in the kitchen. So if all you wanna do is open up a can of beans, maybe you wanna skip this one.
Which is fine too.
But if you wanna make something delicious and you don't mind using a tortilla press, stay with us because this is gonna be delicious. What are we having?
We're having whole wheat parathas with red onions, cilantro, and an assortment of seasonings.
You forgot the potatoes.
Oh, I forgot the potatoes. Oh,
the potatoes
that's the best part.
Right. All right. So
Yeah.
So there we got these whole grain parathas, right? No refined flour with us, stuffed with yummy ingredients.
Yes.
And you know, the reason why Georgie started making these, before COVID, we used to go here in Tucson to a little health food grocery store called Aqua Vita, and inside they had a little Indian restaurant. And we used to get parathas, whole grain parathas there. And after COVID hit, we stopped going out, and I was like, I was missing those parathas. So he figured out how to make them.
I figured it out.
And they are really good.
They're down.
And they're really not hard to make, but you know, you have to be okay with using a tortilla press and rolling some flour and mixing some flour, but it's really not hard. So are you ready to show them?
Right, and I just want to say, you don't necessarily need a tortilla press as long as you have a roller that you can put in between something to push them down. So, but the tortilla press is just easier. And that's what I use to make a lot of my tamales and stuff like that. So I'm ready to do this.
All right, see you on the other side.
Okay, everyone, let's get started on my parathas. The first step is I'm going to chop my potatoes. What I'm going to do is chop them in 1/4-inch cubes. If you want to come in a little bit closer, Denise, I'll show you what I'm saying. These are yellow Yukon Golds. So we're just going to go 1/4-inch slices. Turn that way.
And we like these potatoes more than the red ones for this dish, right?
Yes, and as you notice, I have not peeled them because they are organic and I've washed them.
Right, we always like to keep the nutrients that are in the peel so they can give us the health benefits.
Now, I might have a little bit more potatoes than I need, but the rest of what we're going to make here is that you can put it on anything in the morning, on a toast, just by itself, or in a bowl with other grains. So we're just going to throw these in the pot. And I'm going to put these on the stove and I'm going to boil these down to soften them up.
You're going to put some water in
Right, and what I want to do is come in. I got 2 cups here. I just want to cover them up that much.
So you want to make the water a little past the potato? I'm looking
Right,
at the potato.
that's like about 1/4 cup. I mean, 1 1/4 cups. And this is a 1 quart saucepan. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that on the stove. I want to get it boiling, so I'm going to put it at about, on my stove, it would be like a 7 or an 8. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up my red onion. And I only need 1/4 cup, so go ahead and cut these ends off. Quarter of a cup, I would say that much. There you go. So we're just going to slice it down. Oop. And then turn it around and just nice and slice. Easy dice.
If someone didn't have a red onion at home, could they use a different
Sure,
type?
sure. You could use yellow onion. I wouldn't recommend using a sweet onion. It might change the flavor too much. Let's go ahead and put those over there. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend a sweet onion. So the next thing we're gonna do is just cilantro, we got this out of the gardens just a couple hours ago. Just gonna dice this up. Use all of the stems, the leaves, everything of cilantro. There's no reason to throw any of it away.
Now, I know some people don't like cilantro. It doesn't taste good to them. Could they just leave it out?
Sure.
If that was the
Sure.
only ingredient that was a problem?
Sure, you could leave it out. But the thing is you want to leave most of the seasonings that we're going to use, like the garam masala, the cumin seeds, and the salt, and the lime juice. The lime, what we're going to do now, I have a little electric, if you want to pull up into that juicer. When you push down on it, it does it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and cut my lime in half. And this is such a great little product. Look at that. And it'll give you a little bit of exercise too, because you got to push it down. So I needed 1 teaspoon, yep, half of a lime. That'll be fine. Go ahead and put that in here.
And you know what? Why don't we, before we do anything else, why don't we just say what the spices are going to be that are going to be put with the potatoes?
Okay.
So let me.
We got cumin seeds right here.
That's the cumin seeds.
Mm-hmm. And what I'm going to do with those, I have a little a mortar pestle. I'm going to go ahead and grind those up a little bit so that I get more of the flavor in my parathas.
Oh, okay. So those were whole cumin seeds?
Yes, those are whole cumin seeds. I don't want to make a powder, but however, I want to crush them up enough where you can smell it. Let me put it up to your nose. Yes, you can smell it. So there's that, and then we have garam masala.
That's which one?
Right here.
So that's the garam, yeah.
Yes, and I buy it by bulk. It's a little bit better to do that, and then just salt.
A little bit of salt. Okay.
Salt.
So we've got the salt, the garam masala, the cumin
Seeds.
that you just did.
Crushed lime
and then
juice.
some lime juice. Okay.
And then our cilantro and the red onions.
Okay.
The red onions we're going to put into our potatoes once the potatoes are soft. And we're only going to simmer it a couple more minutes, and then that'll be done. And then we'll add all the rest of it, and I'll crush it up in this bowl with a potato masher. As far as the dough goes, here's what we're using. We're using whole white wheat.
White whole wheat flour. Mm-hmm. And of course we like buying organic. So the difference between whole wheat and white whole wheat is that this has a lighter texture, but it's still wonderful because it's a whole grain. It's still way better for you than just all-purpose white flour. Mm-hmm. We don't suggest you use that. That's for fine. This is going to have more fiber.
So for the dough, I'm going to have 1 cup of that, a half a cup of water, and a half a teaspoon of sugar. I mean salt, sugar. And that's what I'm going to make the dough out. This is going to take about 10 minutes to do, so if you want to take a break, we'll come right back and we'll start on the dough.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, everyone, my potatoes have been simmering about 13 minutes. You can see about the boil that I have them going. What you want is something you're going to be able to squish or mash. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and put my red onions, because I don't want them to cook totally down. We're going to just put them, mix them up a little bit, and we're going to cook them for 2 more minutes. Just going to go ahead and put the lid on that, and we'll be back in a couple minutes and show you what they're finished when we add the rest.
Okay.
Okay, my potatoes and my onions are done. They're soft, as if Denise wants to come in here so I can show you how soft they are. What we want is a texture where we can mash them, and that's perfect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna strain these for a second. Nice blue straining. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add all of our seasonings that we have here, which is, we're gonna start with the cumin seeds that we crushed, the garam masala, lime juice, salt, and then finally our cilantro. And then we're just gonna mix that up. Okay, now what I have here is just a potato masher. And I think it's better if you use a bowl instead of your...
Oh yeah, you don't want to use that
yeah.
metal.
So I'm gonna go ahead and put it all in here so that I don't scratch my pans. And like I said, just a potato masher. We're just gonna mash it all together.
And this is what you're talking about that's going to be leftover. When
Yeah,
you talk
there's gonna
about
be
that at the
leftovers.
beginning.
You can put it on a salad. You can eat it by itself. You can make more parathas the next day. Because this is only gonna make 4, and I'm gonna use maybe a tablespoon of this mixture in each paratha that I got here. So there's probably 2 days worth of this. You can put it on lentils. You can put it on rice.
Yeah, I don't know that I would want the mashed potatoes on my salad, but I would certainly like
Well,
it by
you
itself or...
eat whole potatoes, the fried potatoes sometimes.
Right, but I just don't
Yeah,
know if I
but
would want the mashed
Anyway,
on the salad.
okay. As you can see, got it. Nice little mash here. You don't want to completely crush it. So that's kind of like the texture we're kind of looking for. If you can see that.
Okay, and then that's going to just be inside the paratha.
That's the filling for the parathas.
Right, that's what makes those parathas taste so good.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this aside. It's really hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put it in my freezer for a couple minutes to cool it down, because I don't want to put this real hot stuff in my parathas to make it. So I want to cool it down. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in there for a few minutes. Okay, let's stop and then we'll start on the dough.
Okay.
Okay, let's make the dough. As you can see, I put gloves on. It's just gonna make it a little bit easier so you don't have to wash all your hands off. So what I have is a cup of the whole wheat white flour, salt. I'm gonna mix that up together. And then I'm gonna add half a cup of water. Gonna mix that up. The reason I have the gloves on is because I'm gonna get my fingers in here, and we don't want it under the nails and everything else. So, as you can see, look, it's already thickening up.
And you don't need to knead this, right?
No.
So this is just very easy. Just mix
Yes.
the water with the dough.
Pull that off. And then I'm just gonna take it and get the rest of this flour. Now, if you need more flour, which I think it does, it's kind of soft. I mean, it's sticking to my fingers. So I'm gonna add a little bit more flour to it, mix it around.
So the idea is you don't want it to be too sticky.
Right, you don't want it to stick to your fingers or the gloves. And the reason I'm using gloves, because it's just easier to clean it up. So now, after what I'm gonna do, okay, you can see all the flour is almost gone. Okay, I'm gonna cut this into 4 pieces. Okay. Then we're gonna take and roll it about the size of a golf ball. Golf ball? You agree?
Just like that? That easy?
Okay. Other
And
ones?
you're just gonna place it in the bowl until
Yeah.
we're ready to.
Needs a little bit more flour because it's kind of sticky still. If it's still sticky, just add a little bit more flour to it as you're rolling it. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, let's take a little bit off of that one and make it fatter. Okay. So there's our paratha dough. Okay. This is our stuffing. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and show you in a second. Let me stop here and get a little bit cleaned up, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what I'm gonna do the rest next.
Okay, how we're gonna stuff those parathas.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, before I stuff my paratha to start cooking them on the stove, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my stove up a little bit above medium high. Then I'm gonna take a little bit of avocado oil, and what I did is I have a little silicone brush here so that I don't have a lot of oil on here. I'm just gonna dip it in and just spread it around. This is probably a half a teaspoon.
Oh my gosh, half a cup? No way. You don't mean that. A half a teaspoon?
Half a teaspoon. So with this, it's just gonna spread it around. Looks like there's more, but there isn't. So let's go ahead and put that there. Like I said, a little bit of meat, about a medium. So we're gonna come back over here, and I rolled the parathas balls into a little thing. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, you want to show that, Georgie.
I want to show you. I'm gonna spread them around. I need a little bit more flour.
Do you want to, could you take it from the round, start back round?
Sure.
Okay, because you were kind of showing
Okay.
me.
Round. Now, just gonna push it, squish it around, make a little bit of a patty
Like a
to it.
small pancake, a
Right.
little thick one.
If it sticks to your gloves or your fingers, just put a little bit of flour. Now, I'm wide enough, it's probably 2 inches by 2 inches. I'm gonna take a tablespoon of this, of my mix, and I'm gonna pull this up and squeeze it around just to close up that end. And you keep turning it in your fingers and it'll close it up. Okay, now I have it closed up. I need a little bit more flour. If it sticks to your fingers or whatever, a little bit more flour is gonna help. Okay, now what I have here is a tortilla press. And this is a old Dave's Killer Bread bag that I have.
So this is a technique you use, putting plastic down so it doesn't stick to the
Right.
tortilla press?
Right. And it's easier to clean your tortilla press and it's easier to take it off. So I'll put a little bit of flour on the top, a little bit of flour on the bottom, and I'll put my paratha about a quarter of the way in so that when I close it and squeeze it down, and you don't want to squeeze it hard, you just want to make it just about even, pretty close to even. Okay, then you grab this and you just pull your paratha off, hopefully. Yeah, there we go.
Wow.
Okay,
And then we're gonna put that on the griddle.
put that on the griddle.
All right, and how long does it take to cook?
4 or 5 minutes, depending on the temperature and how.
On one side or for both sides?
I'm gonna be flipping it in about 2 or 3 minutes, and I'll go through that.
Oh.
So let's go over there and make one more. Because probably only fit about two at a time.
On your griddle.
Right. Okay. Got it spread out. Close it up. A little bit of flour.
I can't wait to eat this yummy.
And I can
paratha.
already smell them. Okay. Like I said, just a little bit of flour so they don't stick. And you want to start at the top part of the press, which would be about here. Okay? So we're gonna put that in there, close that down, and you don't want to squeeze it too tight because you don't want to push all the mashed potatoes out. Like I did, see? So that's fine though. Then we pull this off again.
So I guess that's just a learning curve to
Right.
tell how hard or soft to
Right.
do that.
Okay, here we go. Okay, we gotta turn this up a little bit. And as you can see, there's 2 of them starting already. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna go ahead and cook these 2, and in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and prep the other 2. And yes, there will be leftovers, so like I said, you can use them to make more parathas tomorrow morning, or lunch, or put it on just eating out of a bowl. It's great. It's just very tasty. So let's go ahead and let these cook, and we'll come back and show you what they look like in a minute. Okay, I've got it about 3/4 high. As you can see, there's
You
a lot
mean
of
the temperature of the stove.
the temperature of the stove. I'm sorry. So you can see there's steam coming out of them.
And they've been cooking for about 4 minutes
Yes,
now.
I'm gonna go ahead and turn them over and see what they look like. They're gonna need a couple more minutes on that one side.
So so tell people why. How do you tell?
Just being brown.
So you want it to
This
be
is
more
what we
brown?
want right here.
Oh,
Okay.
the darker brown.
Yes, we want the edges brown. So we're gonna let that simmer for a couple more minutes. Then we'll come back and turn them over. Go ahead and push them down. If there's any oils on the sides, go ahead and put that on there. Get rid of that. So we'll just 2 more minutes. I think we're gonna come back and they're gonna be fine. So 2 minutes and we'll flip them over. Okay, I'm flipping them. Nice and brown. Look at that. Okay, we're gonna let them sit up here for a couple more minutes and we will be done.
No?
The parathas, yes.
Okay.
Okay, my parathas are done. Nice and brown on each side. Gonna go ahead and stack them on top of each other. Put them on a cutting board. Cut them like a pie. Slide them on that plate. Parathas. And I'm going to taste one right now. Killer bread. The best thing ever. Thank you, Aquavita, for telling me about it.
Okay. Well, that looks good. You'll go make the others and then we'll come back.
Okay.
Well, here's our finished parathas, the 4 of them, though we've been eating a couple before we got to filming this little end because they're so good.
They're so good.
And just to show you the leftover potatoes, as we said earlier, use them to make some more parathas the next day so they'll be fresh, or just eat it by itself or on some other dish, however you feel like it. I also want to just mention, what can you do with these parathas? Well, I mean, how do you eat them? With what? Well, we've got a lot of other great dishes on our Happy YouTube channel for you to find. So Indian Dal is like a natural, right? That's when we went to the health food store and actually had parathas. We had it with dal, and other Indian dishes. We also have a great kabocha squash Thai spices soup on the channel. I think that would be really tasty with this too. If you like making tofu scramble, you could have this on the side. So there's just so many ways. Of course, you could eat it just by itself because it's just so good.
Yeah.
All whole grains, right? So you got some fiber, some protein, and then the potatoes and the spices. And remember, spices are not just for flavoring. Spices are actually wonderful for your microbiome to help give you the diversity of plants, because the more plants you eat, the better your microbiome will be. And we want to strive for at least 30 plants a week, according to the American Gut Project, for the most healthy microbiome. And spices and herbs are part of that 30. So go for it. All right?
Yeah, I think we're probably up to 80 or 90, I think, maybe.
I don't know about
Hopefully.
that. All right, well, we just want to remind you, if you haven't subscribed to Happy Vegan Couple, if it's your first time looking at us, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so when we put out new videos, you know, you'll be notified. All right, well, until next time, I'm Denise.
And I'm Georgie.
And we're the Happy Vegan Couple. And we hope you will go plant-based
Plant-based.
and optimize your health.
Oh, yeah.
Bye-bye, everybody.